The buses keep coming to New York City and Washington, D.C. At first, hundreds, now thousands of migrants arriving in the Northeast after being sent by the governors of Texas and Arizona.
The need has outstripped our capacity to respond to it.
Some of NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is reporting on an issue that at first seemed like a political stunt from Republicans, but which is now spiraling into what may be a humanitarian crisis. Migrants sent by the thousands on cramped buses from Texas and Arizona to cities like New York and Washington, D.C., where they are said to be arriving thirsty, hungry, and in the dark about what happens next. Joining me now, New York Congressman Richie Torres. His district in the Bronx is home to one of New York City's migrant intake centers. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. Listen, there's what is being done to these migrants. There's also the strain on the system, a system that was already struggling. Talk to us about what you're seeing, what you're trying to do about it.
Look, we're witnessing a wave of migration, the likes of which we've not seen in recent memory. But for me, it's as much an opportunity as it is a challenge. There's an opportunity for New York City to demonstrate what it means to be a sanctuary city, not only in moments of comfort, but also in a moment of crisis. We have a public hospital system that offers health care to everyone, regardless of immigration status. We have a shelter system that offers a place to stay to everyone, regardless of immigration status. And so we have to figure out the challenge of how do we remain true to our values as a sanctuary city, while at the same time managing the strain that the migration has put on our social safety net. I'm hopeful that we can live up to that challenge, but we do need support from the federal government. We need more funding from FEMA and from HUD in particular.
Well, to that point, earlier today, the Pentagon, for the second time, denied the D.C. government's request for National Guard help with these migrant buses. Should the federal government be doing more in that capacity?
Well, there should be an orderly process by which, migrants are sent to the right places with services and shelter. I find the behavior of Governor Abbott to be embarrassingly juvenile. He's treating these migrants not as people, but as political props, as pawns in his petty chess game against the Biden administration. And I find it disgraceful, but he is filling a vacuum that's been left by our broken immigration system. And there needs to be an orderly process put in place by the federal government.
You've been public in your criticism toward DHS. You say they are compounding the problem. Talk to us about what it is you are seeing.
We heard reports that DHS officials were sending migrants to the wrong addresses in the middle of nowhere without shelter or services. It is not clear to me at all whether the federal government has a clear process in place to ensure that migrants are connected to places that provide actual shelter or services. So the latest wave of migration demonstrates that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be fixed. But unfortunately, Republicans have a greater interest in demagoguing the issue of immigration and playing political games rather than actually solving the problem.
Congressman, I want to be mindful of the fact that tomorrow is primary day here in New York. What races are you watching closely? What do New York voters need to know? What are you going to be watching for tomorrow?
Well, New York City had the most chaotic redistricting, which has led to a chaotic primary season. So tomorrow, August 23rd, is the primary. Voting is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I will encourage people to vote, because if there were ever a primary season where your vote matters, it's this one. The turnout could be much lower than usual. The races that we're monitoring are New York 10 and New York 12. Those are fiercely contested congressional primaries. Under normal circumstances, the New York Times would be kingmaker in those districts. But the unprecedented nature of an August primary makes everything unpredictable. There could be an upset from an underdog campaign. So there's no telling what will happen tomorrow in those two districts.
Congressman, we've been talking a lot about these new polling numbers showing that there is clearly an uptick in enthusiasm among Democratic voters. Clearly, it has been a very busy August for Democrats. I wonder, when you are home, when you are talking to your constituents, what it is that is top of mind.
Look, I represent what's often said to be the poorest congressional district in America. So the economy weighs heavily on families who are struggling to put food on the table and pay their bills and keep their families afloat. But I know that voters are highly motivated because of the extremism of the Republican Party, particularly on the issue of abortion. the right-wing judicial activism from the Supreme Court, and the frontal assault on our democracy. Right? These are issues that are motivating the Democratic base, and I'm hopeful that we're going to do much better in the midterms than the pundits predict we will.
Congressman Richie Torres, thank you so much for being with us.